Well, hello everyone, it's Nina, and I'm here with Neat and Tangled as we are kicking off the brand new November release for their Neat and Tangled product line. I'm going to be showcasing the Merry Little Christmas stamp and die set. This is a cute little elf and Christmas tree stamp set that has a lot of great little images that go with it. So for my card, I'm going to be doing some no-line Copic coloring. I stamped a whole bunch of the images for this particular project. Originally, I was thinking I was going to be doing a different card, and it kind of changed as it went along and transitioned into a tag using just this little girl, Elf. I'm coloring her with R46, RV69, and R85. I'm starting off with my R46 and coloring in over top of all of my light colored stamping here. I used antique linen distress ink. Distress inks work very well with Copics. They don't bleed or anything when you're coloring over top of them, and when you use a light color like the antique linen, you can easily cover over top of it with all of your marker colors. So that's the one I used here, and I'm just adding some shading to this little girl. As you can see, I'm switching back and forth between her hat and her dress because one of the things that I have to make sure when I'm coloring is that, especially with colors like reds, they bleed very easily. And when you're allowing a little bit of time in between each layer to dry, it helps make sure that you keep a nice image. And that was why I was switching between her hat and her dress. So I'm coloring in all of the little images on her. I'm using some different browns and greens to color in the little shirt underneath her dress and her little boots. Moving on to her hair, I'm just doing some simple shading on this, such small spaces that you don't want to go too detailed with your coloring. For her face, I'm using my favorite color combination, which is E00, E50, and E43. I'm going to be adding some shading with my cool gray markers, and then I'll also be taking a white gel pen and going over top of the white areas to brighten those up. This helps give the hat a lot more dimension and realism. Darkening up her features with a black pen, and I'm adding a little blush with some RV42. So for the presents, I used pretty much the same colors that I've been using on the rest of the image here. I'm just going to color a couple of them here so you can kind of see what I did. And then I'll just go ahead and finish the rest, and we'll start working on my die cutting. So here I've got the coordinating dies for this stamp set, and I've colored in all of the little presents here that I've got stamped. I'm taking some sticky notes, and I'm going to just attach these down onto the dies just to make sure they don't shift when I go through the Big Shot machine here. Just lay those all out, and then I'll just run that through along my machine. So now that I've got that all set and ready to go, I'm working on my sentiment. I'm using some vellum here, and I'm stamping my sentiment, which is also from the Merry Little Christmas stamp set, onto some vellum here with Versamark ink. So now I'm taking some silver embossing powder, and I've embossed my sentiment onto my vellum. And a trick I've been enjoying recently is tearing the vellum. And as you can see, I'm just kind of carefully tearing it along the edges to give it a nice little texture to the ends. And that'll then go over top of our frame. For the frame, I'm using this Pretty Pink Posh scalloped oval die. This is from the Decorative Tag 1 die set. I've cut a whole bunch of them from white cardstock, and I'm using my PPA matte adhesive. This is a liquid glue. And I'm going to be applying glue onto all of my little frames. I've cut out quite a few of them. And I'm going to layer them up, and this is going to be the shaker portion of my tag. So I'll just keep adding those on. And then once I've got them all layered up. I've taken one piece of acetate here. I'm attaching it onto one of the panels, and then I'll take one more of those little scallop frames and attach that over top. And that just gives it a nice finished edge. I'm popping my vellum sentiment onto some foam tape here. I used this foam tape and cut it to some small pieces. That way it would be hidden behind the embossed sentiment. Just attach that down onto my tag, and my little elf will go right there. So I'll just put some more foam tape on her. I'm going to be using a double thickness of foam tape for her, just so that way she pops off of both the tag and the sentiment, and it gives a bit more of dimension to the tag. As you can see, I've placed some sequins inside of this tag. I used quite a few different sequins from Neat and Tangled and Lucy's cards. And I also put those little presents that I colored inside this shaker as well. And that adds a nice extra little piece to this shaker card. So I'm adding some Wink of Stella clear glitter onto my little dress and hat for my elf. And I also used some enamel accents on top of the white areas of her Santa hat. To finish off this tag, I'm using green ribbon here. This is some green satin ribbon. And I'm also using some bow wire. This is silver bow wire. And I'm tying a little bow to make this ribbon look a little bit more festive. I like doing this to finish off my tags. And that finishes off my card. So I hope you've enjoyed. Be sure to stop over at my blog where I'll have a complete list of the products used, as well as more inspiration and pictures. And be sure to also head over to the Neat and Tangled blog where we have a giveaway and sneak peeks of the entire stamp set. And I hope you'll join us for the rest of the week as well, where we're showcasing more of the November Neat and Tangled release. Thanks so much for stopping by, and we'll see you again soon.